Hello and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Um, I said we weren't gonna do any more paranormal videos for talk therapy, yet I'm back with another ghost edition of talk therapy. Who in the chat hates me right now? You can leave, by the way. No, hard feelings. I had thought about this story and debated whether to include it or not in my original Ghost edition. I did not include it because number one, that video was hecka long, and number two, I was feeling some type of way about recalling this experience, and while I'm still in my head about it, I've just decided that, like, it's not going to hurt anything, and honestly, it's only going to do what I give it power to do. And in this case, I'm not going to let it scare me. It's something I have been through and dealt with and moved on. And if I can tell the experience with the malevolent presence at the asylum that I told in that video, then I can tell this. It's just different because this one hits so much harder. This one was so much more crazy to believe if you watch the video. This one's even more like emotionally weighing. Like it got real dark. But you know what? We're just gonna tell it. So, in order to give this story, I do have to give a really, really small rundown backstory of how I ended up in where I was living. So, this happened about 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, and I had to move back to my family's house. So I was in a relationship. I think I've said it on here at this point. I'm not divulging anything new that when my divorce went through, I had to move to my family's house because at that point my parents were passed away, so I couldn't move like back home with my parents, so I moved in with my family who had a spare room, and which my little brother lives there. That is all important because the fact that my little brother lives there, it's also important to include that he had this one friend who was his age, so I think at the time, probably about 18 or so. He had this one friend who was just a very negative human being. Now, it's hard saying that as an 18-year-old, this boy was a negative presence, but this boy's dad, I don't know where his mom was. His mom was, like, not in the picture. His dad was a druggie. This kid was full of like rage and anger from his childhood, and he was not getting the proper mental care. So then not only was he angry and violent, but he also just like hated his life, and I believe at some point he was also doing drugs, and he tried to get my little brother to do drugs. My little brother didn't want to. This kid turned to the dark side of religion, and all of that we get here. That I was always spiritual in the way of no matter what I did, it was of love, light, and positivity. Whatever form of craft I participated in throughout my teenage years and my early 20s, it was always positivity backed. I would have never done anything, and that's just me personally. I'm not saying anything negative about it, but me personally, I don't choose to walk on the dark side of things. I just was not raised that way, nor did I ever venture that path. So I've always been into crystals, and I've always had, I'm not going to say an immaculate crystal collection, but I've always had a bigger one, and I've always been very knowledgeable about crystals. So when I moved back home, or into my family's house, my brother was really excited because he loved that about me. for some reason. Like, my older brother thinks it's weird, like, that you have magical rocks, and my older brother is like, grow up, they're rocks. My sister is on the fence about it, but my little brother was like, yeah, now we can go to rock shops together, and like, you can help me pick out crystals. I can tell you what I need from a crystal, and you can tell me which one to get. And, you know, like, it was very cool for me as his big sister. And he even asked me to bless some of his crystals that we bought at shops together. Like, it was just a very cool thing, and I loved that. And at one point, very early on, I want to say like within my first week of moving back home, he let me know that he had this container of crystals that he really needed blessed, because he didn't want to use them until they were cleansed, because they had really been through it. And I mean, to me, that didn't spark any red flags, because, you know, if I wear a piece of clear quartz, okay, in a necklace, and I have I wear it every day for like a month or so, and I have a lot of negative experiences in that month. Maybe a lot of bad things happen. Maybe I have some negative emotions within that month. In my mind, the way I practice and view things, unfortunately, because it's been there through all of that, it has kind of, that energy has rubbed off on it. So I would consider that as been through it. I didn't put a hex on this crystal, but it's been through negative stuff, therefore the negative is clinging to it. It's been through it and it needs cleansed. I'm not thinking anything of it, okay? Until I finally ask him where it's been. And he tells me the story about how his friend gave him these crystals. And I'm like, okay, but why are you, like, I understand you want to cleanse somebody else's energy off of it. I get that. But why so adamant about it? And basically he gives me the rundown that this friend has been playing into the dark side, and these crystals were in his space, like at the friend's house when this happened, and now he gave them to my brother. My brother took them, but just kept them locked in a container until somebody could cleanse them and bless them. And I'm thinking, you're telling me this man has worked with the dark side and invited that energy into his space where these crystals were, and now you want me to... Girl. But I take a deep breath and I'm like, I'm a bad. I got this. Take a deep breath and I'm like, yes. Like, don't use them, don't touch them until they're cleansed, but yes, we'll do it. Right? So, I'm going to sum this up at various points, but right now, important. Number 1, I move into my family's home. Number 2, he has crystals that have very negative energy attached to them, and not only am I walking into this home newly, but the first thing I declare is I will get rid of that negative energy off these crystals that are residing here. Okay? Okay. So, he gives me some of them, and I cleanse them, and only after I am 100% sure that these are okay, I give them back to him. And around this exact time, the layout of the bedroom that I was living in it was like a loft style bedroom. You go up the stairs to the second floor of the room, and as soon as you get to the top of the stairway, it is all one room. That is my room at this moment. Okay? So I sleep alone up there. There's only one bed. It's my bed, it's my room. I'm the only one up there. I start waking up in the middle of the night to a tall, dark, just black shadow of a man who is walking up the stairs, and I can only see, like, when he reaches, like, the top, I can only see, like, part of him. And then the first night, he stops at the top of the stairs. He stops, he turns towards my bed. I tuck my head under the covers because I'm scared, and I fall back asleep. The second night it happens again, but he walks into the room. third night it happens again, and he gets halfway. This is a big room, but he gets like halfway through the room. And I remember that specific night, I am terrified. I am literally praying because I don't want to know what happens when he reaches. I know every night he's going to keep coming and getting closer, and I don't want to know what happens when he reaches me. And I don't know where he came from, and I don't know why this is happening. Right? So, I hate to do it because my family, while they believe in the paranormal, they really don't mess with it. They really don't in this household. They'll watch paranormal shows a little bit here and there, but like hardly ever because they believe that can come through. Like, they're very weird about it. So I feel guilty saying, hey, I know I just moved in, but like, I swear I didn't bring it with me, but this is what's happening. But I do because I'm terrified and I don't know what else to do. And my aunt is a very devout Christian. So what does she do? She goes up there and she sits with, different Christian songs and stuff playing, and she, sings the word, and she shows it that we're not scared, and she shows it that this is a house of God, and she prays over the room. And a little bit of time goes by where nothing happens. We're good. We're Gucci. And then I can't remember what sparked it up, but again, it happens another night. And I go up to the room. I can't exactly remember how this last night went down, but I think we were talking about it downstairs. And I go, I'm like, I'm not going to be scared. That's exactly what it wants. I'm not going to give it what it wants. So I go upstairs, and the second I walk up the stairs and get into that room, I turn like I'm going to go to my bed and actually enter the room, and I just feel it. Like, it is in the room. It is consuming the room. The entire energy is filled. I can't do this. So I run back downstairs, and I'm crying, and I tell her. And she and my brother are the only people who knew about the crystals. And the fact that I think they're playing something into this. And she tells me, she says, okay, I'm gonna bless this house. I'm going to anoint the doorways. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to do my thing. Everything's going to be okay. But we need to tell the whole house so that they know what's going on. And I said, okay, fine. I was really adamant about not everybody knowing because I think that speaking about these things gives energy to these things, which is what they want. But I'm like, okay, fine. So we do just that. And after we hold a household meeting where we talk about everything up till now, my brother is crying and lets us know off to the side that he feels so guilty, but there's more crystals he didn't want us to know about, and that they are attached to a DIY little craft thing that he liked. They were, if you imagine, it's really hard to put this into words, and I'm sure there is a term for what this was, but if you imagine a dream catcher, how the strings are woven in different patterns and stuff like that. Imagine a dream catcher, but there is no circle, right? Because all dream catchers, you have that circle of bone or feather or whatever that is like holding it and weaving. There is no circle. It is all woven into crystals. And then there's a couple hanging from it. This was in that man's house also. Was also given to him by this man. And this entire time, it was in my brother's bedroom, which was directly under my room, which is where this thing was coming up the stairs. And he's so guilty because I'm experiencing this, because he didn't tell us the truth, that there were more, whatever. So he throws it away. And stuff still keeps happening throughout the next couple hours. So I asked him, I said, because he tells me he got rid of it. So I ask him and I'm like, what did you do with it? He's like, oh, I threw it in the garbage can out back. That's not gonna fix this. It's still on the premise. They still are existing. Like, that's not gonna fix this. So I have a talk with my aunt, and we both go out back to the trash can, and she does her prayers. I bring sage. I done sage this whole house. I bring it with me out back. I start, this sounds stupid, okay? Yes. I start saging the trash can. I get gloves on, and I get that thing out of there. And I'm saging everything. And I tell my sister, I'm like, we need this out of the house. I know what I'm doing, but I need to get it to a body of water. Luckily, we lived literally 2 minutes from a river that ran through this city. So I'm like, I need to get it to a body of water. She drives us down there, and I take it and I throw it into the river as I'm saying my different chants and my different cleansing and whole 9 yards. And I tell it that it has to go. It cannot attach to me, not to the house, not to a single one of us. Like, we are love, light, and positivity. You cannot be here. You have to leave. You are attached to these crystals now and forever. You go where they go. You have to leave. We get home. Everything feels better. I don't see him anymore. I don't, nothing. Everything's great. Now, I will say that was the experience. I will add a little mini experience on that's kind of tied to it. And I would just like to take accountability for what I did, because disposing it in that instance, the body of water thing was maybe not the best idea, and that is on me. At the moment, in my panic and of just needing this thing to be gone and knowing what I know, I'm like, okay, body of water. If I would have actually sat on this and thought about it, I would have realized that the body of water actually was not a great idea. Depending on what you believe in, this varies. You could stop it there and be like, okay, yeah, I got rid of it and I did it properly, depending on what you believe in. But on the other flip side, if you heavily believe in the balance of like the universe and of like different properties like water and stuff like that, then you will understand that I probably upset a lot of worldly spirits by putting that much negativity and that big of a negative entity into a body of water to get him to leave. That's on me. The little mini experience was, I kind of just had a little bout of depression, so I went back to the river. I love like rivers and nature. If I'm upset, put me out in nature and I'm fine. You know, I need to touch some grass. I need to hear some rushing water and I'll be fine. I went with a friend and we went several different nights. The first night we went and nothing too crazy happened except a giant boulder. And I mean, we tested this out. A giant, huge rock boulder was like launched over our heads into the river. We turn around and no one's there. When I say we tested it out, I mean we literally went around the river and tried to pick up the biggest rocks we could and recreate that big of a splash, and we couldn't. Like, the size that this thing had to be was nothing that any human could pick up unless you benched 200 to 300 pounds at the gym every day. Like, it was massive. But I was like, you know what, like, not a big deal. Was it in the exact spot that I dropped these crystals off at? Yes. Did I think about that connection? No. But we didn't think anything about it. And then, you know, I think it was literally the next night we go to the river again, and we're trying to kill time because I'm still depressed, and that's my happy place. And we went right before sunset. And tell me why. Now, in the state that we were in, there are no big cats. Okay? You're not gonna find it. Tell me why we are sitting on the bank of this river and all of a sudden you hear like I don't even want to try to recreate it because I'm gonna be looking stupid. You hear the literal, like, what do you even call that word? Growl, scream, cry of what sounded like a cheetah, a tiger, a lion, like something, like a big cat. And we look across the river, and coming out from the bushes is a full-grown mountain lion. We don't have mountain lions here. We don't. And he literally screams. He's like, oh my god, this fucking mountain lion, like, we gotta run, like, that thing will kill us. I would like to say real quickly, if you go Google the sound that a mountain lion makes, if you watch a mountain lion make that sound that it makes, that was the exact sound, by the way. So that matched up. So we run to the car, and he forgot his keys. He had sat them on the riverbank where we were sitting. So here we are, sat in the car. That mountain lion could swim across here and come get us. The windows of this car are down, and the keys are out there. So I'm like, okay, we gotta do something. He's like, okay, I'm calling, the police. So the police at least have a gun, can come assist us to go get them. And if that cat comes at us, they can shoot it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he calls, right? And I have, call it a death wish, I have this mentality that I am a baddie. I ain't scared. I could do anything. Even if that thing eats me. I'm like, I have a way with animals. I have a way with the universe. If that cat comes at me, I'll just pet it and it'll be fine. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I get out of the car and I go get the keys by myself while we're waiting on them to come. When they get here, they're like, yeah, that's not the first sighting we've seen. We've gotten a lot of calls that she's over here, but the problem is she's on a nature preserve, so, like, there's nothing we can do about her. We will go investigate and lay eyes on her again, but, like, we know she's there and we can't do anything. I'm flipping out because she's not supposed to be here. They don't have an explanation. I don't have an explanation. Nobody has an explanation. Everybody, he keeps saying, the friend that was with me keeps saying, like, nobody's gonna believe us. Everybody's gonna think we should be locked up. Like, we live in this state. Like, they're not here. Like, this makes no sense. And even now, I, on the internet, probably sound insane with this story, but, like, I saw what I saw. And then, like, crazy things keep happening. Just feeling things that are really off, seeing things that really shouldn't be happening. And it gets to the point where my brother is upstairs in my room one night crying. He doesn't want to sleep alone. He wants to sleep with his big sister. Can he camp out in my room for the night? And I'm like, bro, he's like, I'll call my one friend, like, he's really spiritual, like, he'll talk me down, you won't have to deal with me, I just want to be able to sleep in this room. And I'm like, okay, fine. So he calls this one friend, and he hadn't spoken to the one friend in a while, so he tells him the whole crystal experience, and then he keeps telling him that, like, my big sister's even, like, having issues from this. She's, like, seeing things that shouldn't be seeing, hearing things, like, it's scary right now at our house, like, it's a whole thing. And his friend says, can I talk to your big sister? So he puts me on the phone. And he's like, I really appreciate that you, like, tried to take care of your own and take care of that house. But, like, what the hell were you thinking putting it in that body of water? That was not a real... Now, listen. This is the part where I think it's a little bit Looney Tunes. But people out there, depending on your belief, you might be into whatever this guy was into. And you might be able to understand this. And I'm just going to put it as it is part of the story, kind of. He's like, that was not a mountain lion. Well, it was, but it wasn't really. What you did was piss off the balance of the universe and the ecosystem, and what those are spirits of the earth. And they are not happy with you. So, like, you need to give the earth an offering that is actually worthy, or else, like, you're gonna be screwed. So, I took my little brother because this was what his friend said. This was what's going to fix the rest of our issues. We have to do this. So I did take my little brother, and I don't remember what I offered the earth, but we did go do something. We did go back to that river and we did something, but I don't remember what it was, to be honest with you. So, but that's my story. The mini story and on is kind of Looney Tunes, but the first part, definitely something I don't ever want to experience again. That's all I got. So, if you can relate to any part of this, or if you have any paranormal stories to share, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. That is the part of talk therapy. I have done a lot of talking. Now you get to talk back and tell me your experiences, your thoughts, your opinions. And if you have any idea what this guy was talking about, if you are into that side of the craft, or you are into that religion that like was about what that was, let me know, because I've always wanted to be a little bit more enlightened on what he meant and what that practice is. So if you know, comment, please. But that is it for this episode, and I will see you. Hopefully it's not another paranormal episode. We'll see. I will see you guys in the next episode.